Hello and welcome everyone to the last episode of AI learning web series of IntellicoTalks powered by IntellicoWorks. IntellicoWorks is an AI and DevOps consulting company that provides its services around the globe. And we are also the partner consultants for AWS, Azure and Google Cloud Platform services. So we are into the last episode and definitely we are going to discuss some of the very important things regarding the artificial intelligence, and that is the future trends in artificial intelligence. And for that, we have two AI experts with us, Fahad Nadeem and Shahzad Masud. Welcome guys to the last episode of this series. So Shahzad, starting off, talking about with the emerging technologies in AI, I would really like you people to elaborate these things in detail so our audience can get the real benefit out of it in the last episode. So talking about the emerging technologies, Shahzad, how would you define this thing, and what are the emerging technologies that are coming in the future for us?
So the most important one, which I think would be the future trend, would be the code generation. The code generation part, which people are actually struggling in finding algorithms, struggling in finding the rhythm, struggling in finding actually the right solution for something. They always want to refactor their code. They always want to make modification in their code. So what they're actually looking for is the code generation part.
Okay.
And the second part is they are actually going for the debugging of the code. So debugging of the code actually is the second most important feature. So whenever you are actually going for any auto code generated, the generated code is always error-free. So error-free code, you can always debug on that part. So AI can really help you out with the debugging facilities as an AI assistant, along with the generated code that is there for you. Sometimes the generated code is actually performing based on the historical events. So if you have to modify that one for your own requirement, you can actually debug that particular scenario on that part too.
Perfect. And also we can talk about the requirement analysis as well as the DevOps part as well. So what would you add about the requirement analysis part, especially in AI?
Yes, I think requirement analysis is one of the most important steps in the whole software development life cycle, and there's a lot of research that also goes into this process. It's a hectic process, and not everyone would like to do that. So AI assists you with all the research that you want to do in that phase. It can go out and read those websites and gather all the requirements that you need, and it can also help you communicate in the most effective manner. And based on the client you're dealing with, right? It can help you write personalized messages and all that sort of stuff. It can learn the behavior based on your past history and inputs that you previously used.
Behavior analysis.
Yes, exactly. It can help you with that. And yes, I mean, in DevOps as well, AI is helping us automate the CI/CD pipelines. It's reducing the workflows that existed before, and it can also help with debugging as well, as Shahzad mentioned. So you now have co-pilots for your different code editors that you can integrate into, and they have such a great understanding of your code that if you did spend like 3 hours before AI on debugging, now it's a matter of 15-20 minutes, because it will go out and find that semicolon for you that you were struggling to find before maybe. So yes, and code generation as well, you can just feed the scenario to any language model which is efficient enough. You can explain what you want it to write, and you can explain what have you tried before and what you want to try new with this, and it will help you in surprising ways. I mean, we as developers, as engineers, have been using all these offerings that AI has to give us, and it has reduced the time that it takes to develop a complete software. It has minimized it a lot. Yes,
it's super interesting part actually of the entire scenario is that this AI help code generation and debugging is actually not available as a separate thing. They are actually embedded as a plugin with existing IDEs. So all the existing IDEs that are available, it is actually available with them. And one of the most important part of the development lifecycle where AI will be actually disrupting the market is the communication amongst different teams. So there will be you're asking a question. If you don't get the answer within a few seconds, your thoughts can be changed.
So collectively, it's been as the AI enhanced collaboration.
Exactly. So if you're a developer mindset and you have a design pattern in your mind that you want to implement that design pattern, you started working or developing on that one, the other thoughts are bingo, they're gone. But if you have some AI auto generation algorithm, you just click on that, implement a singleton design pattern there, the next thought are actually in line in there. And you can actually continue based on that one. So the communication frameworks will be another disruptive one in the entire AI spectrum that is going to be the future trend. So to summarize the entire factor, we are using the AI generated debugging, generation, code generation, collaboration and stuff like that. But if I give you a small digit on that, we are like less than 1% we are using that one. But
less than 1%.
Less than 1% we are using that one. People are so behind that one. They're so much fearful about the code generators. Okay, this will generate a buggy code. I have to spend like hours and hours to debug the code, that what they have done, what they have developed. They have a fear in their mind. Yeah. Once that fear is actually went away, so things will be a lot more positive in this one. And trust me,
very interesting number to know that
this is less than 1%. This is less than 1%.
I mean, talking about the last couple of months, especially when Chat GPT comes in, we thought that number got risen by from here to this.
Still people are very fearful on that, but they're fearful that our code will be actually grabbed or snatched by Chat GPT.
So reliance is still less on the we can say the AI systems.
Exactly. So I would first like to double down on the collaboration end of it. I think this is a very critical use case, and this is also where AI helps us a lot. So I have an actual real-world example for this. When you're working with cross-regional teams from all around the world, there is also a big communication gap as well, and a time zone difference and that sort of stuff. So Skype actually has this AI feature which lets you translate real-time speech that is coming in from a different user. So I work with a team in Brazil, and I don't know Spanish, or they don't know English, but we're able to communicate. I mean, if you think about it, how great is that? And that too in real time. So you don't have to wait, in long queues and all that sort of stuff. So that is one of the most impressive feature that was enabled by AI.
Multi-language feature.
Yeah, it's happening in the real time, right?
Yeah, it's happening in the real time.
So it translates the audio for me to English and then for them to Spanish. So they're able to hear me in their native language when they don't even speak mine. And it's impressive. I mean, yeah. And I mean, to move on to the next step, which, is being discussed, the adaptation part of AI. People are afraid because they still don't know how these systems actually work. Yeah. But in my opinion, I feel like we need to educate them on to how the operations are actually happening, how the data that they feed to the system actually gets processed, and how is the system able to help them. If they have that understanding, or I think if they are educated well enough, then they will start using these systems more. Because if an AI is able to generate code as good as a developer can, it's not going to replace the developer that uses it, because you can enhance your workflow. You don't have to do those repetitive tasks. Just adapt to it, start using it. Because let's take an example of a designer. If you're able to create a single poster like a week ago, before the introduction of an AI model, or like 3 months ago, now you can generate 10 in the same time span, because now it's there to assist you. It provides you with all the tools. You don't need to do all that research by yourself. You don't need to do Google searches and everything. You have a prompt box, you input to, and then it will generate you ideas, and you can just use that.
You are building a learning curve for you, and improvisations happen.
Exactly. Right? I mean, there's also concern regarding creativity, which I believe is always, it always comes from the human being. No AI system will ever be able to replace that. But the only people who adapt to it, in the right manner, are the ones that are going to survive.
I mean, this is a very important statement, and I would like to include Shahzad as well. Do you think that AI actually gonna replace the human beings?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Humans will always be on top of it. Humans have created this artificial intelligence robots, and whenever humans are at this stage and they are repetiting the task, human can actually do the biasness as well. You can actually check in the previous episode that we actually can do ethical stuff in this one. We can actually bias fitting that one. We can actually improvise our decision, being a warden of the entire spectrum, entire universe of the ethical decision making. We can actually do a lot more things in the entire spectrum.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, let me also give you a very interesting example. I mean, I still don't understand why there is so much fear. Autocorrect, you might be familiar with that. It's there in every keyboard. So before autocorrect, us humans, we used to type, right? We do remember all the spellings and everything.
Yeah.
But with the introduction of autocorrection, which is also powered by AI, by the way, it's not that we did forget how to type, but it's that we don't need to go back and correct all those misspellings by ourselves. It's just that we can type more in less time.
Yeah.
So it sort of enhances our productivity in these minor softwares that we use in many minor ways as well. AI
Making us more efficient.
It's more like accelerating our way of operations.
Exactly. So at the end, I think it only makes you a better and productive human being. And yeah, it's here to stay. So
Shahzad and Fahad, we were talking about the impact and overall the future trends of AI technology. So what's exactly the impact would be? We can say we can have that in the coming years, especially when we talk about the shift of AI. So what impact could it be on the software development and or the software industry?
So I would define that in 3 different words. First one is the acceleration, second one is the accuracy, and third one is the speed.
Mm-hmm.
So if we actually go for the software development, what software development lifecycle actually is, it's at certain boundaries, certain timelines associated with that one. So if that certain boundaries and timelines actually reduce, accelerated a lot, and the entire time spectrum is less, there will be a lot of people actually with a lot of ideas, a lot of things actually will be there. Mm-hmm. And if we are actually getting like 100 products every day, so after this one, this impact and this spectrum shift, we're going to get maybe 1,000 products in an hour as well. Mm-hmm. So there are lots of improvement in the development spectrum, there are lots of improvement in the quality assurance spectrum, lots of improvement in the maintenance spectrum, lots of improvement in the DevOps spectrum. So everything will be more like an artificial oriented and automated way of actually handling.
Way more efficient, right?
It's more than 100 times, maybe 1,000 times, or maybe 100,000 times more efficient in the software development lifecycle.
Yeah. And what's your call on these steps, especially when you talk about the impact on the software industry? So, and some factors involved in it. So, what would you say about it?
I think one of the biggest factors that I've been able to witness is the accelerated developments, and the whole rapidness in the process of this startup life cycle has improved a lot. Now you can build a product. I mean, definitely not very large scale product, but even smaller product, you can get it ready under 1 week. There are no code platforms powered by AI. You don't even have to write code for those. So yes, time to market for new ideas and new startups has been reduced a lot, and that also affects the cost part of it, because if there's a new idea and you don't have the resources to build it, you can just go out and use services that are already there and integrate those together, and you can just get the product out there in a matter of days. That is very impressive, I would say. And then also QA is a very extensive part in the development lifecycle as well. It has been done over the years by human beings manually, right? Yeah. Going out to different web pages and testing out every component, themselves. Yeah, it's a very expensive thing to do. Yes. So AI has also helped a lot on that side. We can now run automated bots. You can use RPA to sort of automate that whole pipeline. It will go out and test all these different things to you. You can instruct it, on what to do. Before, what you were doing with a human being, now you can do it with AI. So you also reduce the human force. And then it's a machine, so it's always going to be faster than the human being.
And I think the third aspect that you told us is the user experience.
Exactly.
I mean, this is the most important factor for any product. So
I think yes. I mean, AI is able to assist us with user experience in remarkable ways. So before, we used to do is we can take data from the user, right? The user data from the application usage, and we sort of used to sit down and predict what the user actually wants,
define the models,
everything. Yeah, right. And that's a very difficult problem to solve, right? But now with these numbers, with these different, so let's take into consideration some factors. How much time user is spending? How do they react to it? How much time they spend on a single screen and everything? Us humans could not make a lot manually with that sort of information. But with these AI engines, they're able to explain to you in the best manner possible that this is user category A. This is how they relate to this user category, and they like to spend a lot of time searching and then less time buying. And then there's a user category B, which does not spend, is like me. They do not want to spend a lot of time on the website. They just want to go there, search for the right product, and they want to purchase it and go back home or whatever. So yes, this is what AI helps us with.
I mean, analysis becomes so easy with it.
It's very easy. It's very easy.
And you can give both of these customers tailored experiences, right? So the user that does not like to spend a lot of time, you hit them with the right products, and you want to make sure your search is more efficient and related to their use case. If they don't get the right products, they're just going to run away from your platform. And for the other one, you can put them in a loop. You can also maybe try and showcase them some ads, move them to a free plan or something. So yes, that is a way you can differentiate between these different user categories, and that also enhances your software experience.
Customer will see actually themselves as a privileged customer. That the site is actually taking care of them. They know the website owner or the product owner is actually taking care of the interest of the user. So will feel privileged that okay, my ideas, my thoughts are actually in front of me. Yeah. So he will keep on recommending and maybe referring to the other people as well.
I mean, being a marketeer in the industry, especially in the tech industry, I mean, this is so important to judge and analyze the user behavior. I mean, the things that you have been telling us that analysis of the behavior and the segmentation of the data specifically. It's becoming so efficient,
super
and
configurable.
Easy. Yeah.
Super configurable, super easy, super handy. It's available on the fingertips, and all the hard work or the work that we have been doing manually for past many years, we can actually just configure that one. At the end of the day, just see the reports and tune it as per that.
Perfect. So, you guys have elaborated this section very comprehensively, and coming towards the next part, that is, what is exactly the future role of AI in this software development or the software industry?
Actually, to actually answer this one, let me tell you one historical fact about it. Many people actually believe that the humans cannot fly, but humans are flying, right?
Yeah.
But the humans cannot fly, but they're actually sitting in devices or assets or machines which can fly. So previously, this was a concept that human cannot fly. So another thing, there is no such thing called computer or automation. Yeah. But now things are automated, but in a different way. So there was no such thing like 20 years ago or maybe 15 years ago. There is no such thing called computer brain, but now there is.
The existence of that.
5-10 years ago, if I go for that, there is no such thing called artificial intelligence that can do data analytics. Yeah. But there is. There is no such thing like a couple of years ago that computers or robots didn't really understand your sentiments or your context or your generative progressiveness. But now we have, right? So talking in terms of the future, there are many future trends that are not possible, right? So what we can think, we can actually consider that this can happen. So for example, can computers or artificial intelligence generate the entire project, entire code? Yeah. Why not? This is entirely possible. Can computer or AI assistive tools or products can generate the entire requirement specification documents? Yes, they can do that. Can they actually derive a decision support system for the entire process engineering cycle? Yes, they can do that. Can they override humans?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is the question where actually I was coming to.
Actually, the decision support system or everything that is being designed or defined is actually by the humans. So humans always are the wardens of those biasness that is available over there. So can they actually do that? Yeah. This is something where the humans are actually in their race, and they are actually far ahead from the artificial intelligence. And from the future perspective, can all the engineering or software engineering lifecycle can be done inside the AI spectrum or not? Yes, that can be done. But these are based on a historical factor or the bias variance that we have defined, that okay, all the products will be actually gone through these 11 factor apps, rather than we actually going for requirement analysis, development, quality assurance, production, requirement analysis, production. But now what we have observability as well, we have monitoring as well, we have alerts as well, we have different data segmentation as well, we have event-driven architecture as well. So everything that is on the software engineering spectrum can now be shifted onto AI as well. So, we are going to see things actually going into a lot more better situation, right?
I would say some factors, will go beyond our imagination, and some factors will have some limitation.
All those factors, which includes the human intervention, human decision making, human decision controls, creativity, creativity will evolve. Like let's say, for example, you wanted to create an interface where you have less number of clicks, but that's an e-commerce platform. You can do that. AI can do that. But can AI do something, build a product where user don't have to do anything, but just go and buy the product? No. This is an idea which only human brain can actually decipher.
Absolutely. And Fahad, coming towards your side, your quick feedback on this whole scenario, the future impact of AI in software engineering, as the first thing, AI as the software development partner, AI as decision support system, and the third one, AI in software engineering careers. What would you, how you recall these three things?
Okay, I'll try to explain all three in a separate manner. I feel like, yes, it's here to stay, and it's just going to evolve, and we are lucky to witness this, because it's just like the wheel revolution. When it was invented, the world just changed into just this new world, which had this great invention. And AI is, I feel like AI and this revolution as the same is that one. Now, if we talk about development, I believe it's going to assist developers more and more, and the developers that actually figure out how to make use of it, right? How to perfect themselves, how to write better code, how to I even use AI to write my codes in doc strings, right? I don't write them anymore. So yes, I mean that, and then also that use AI to sort of do code optimization, and whatever you can do with code, let the AI do it, right? Just adapt to it, and that's how it's going to change your development landscape. It's going to make you a better developer, and it's going to reduce times by incredible numbers.
Scale with it further, and
yeah, exactly. Just make it a friend, right? And so, then coming to your next part, which was the decision support. I believe the only reason that we struggle with, or there is still like a hesitant in these systems regarding making decisions, is that because it still has, it does not have that much amount of data. As we start using these systems more and more, and as these systems are able to collect more and more human data and sort of figure out in a very detailed manner how exactly does a human make his decision, right? If you want to go for something, why are you going for it? Why do you buy a red cup every time? What's that association? And more personalized decisions that you make in daily life. Yeah. So we're going to have personal assistants that learn you better and better every day as they collect more data from you. And then, that's going to fuel the decision-making aspect of it. And even at organizational levels, right? Yeah. If you, send out proposals and, you talk to clients in different manners, from different regions, just deploy an AI there, just deploy a bot there, feed it with all the information and make it learn. It's going to adapt to it, very rapidly and in a very good manner as well. And then the last thing, career-wise, I believe it's going to be a trade-off in a way that, AI is going to demolish a lot of careers, and it's also going to create new ones. I'll give you an example.
New opportunities, lots of opportunities.
So let's talk about the ones that went away, sadly.
Sorry to cut you off here, but it's a very important discussion.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, people see AI as an enemy.
Yeah.
They see the opportunities are going away, but actually a lot of opportunities are coming.
Exactly. So I'll also try to keep that perspective in my answer as well. So the example that I have is, customer support, people that work with customer support and, email support and everything. I feel like in very near future, whatever is left of it is also going to be replaced by these very intelligent bots that are able to do more amount of work in, less time. Yeah. So I mean, why wouldn't anyone want to pay for efficiency, and why wouldn't anyone want to adapt for it? So that's a career gone. And also like these repetitive tasks like data cleaning and annotation and those sort of tasks you can also automate using this. But we shouldn't be afraid, because it also gives birth to new careers as well. So I'll give you an example. There is a lot more data science and AI engineer openings in the market than ever before, right? When I started in the industry and this specific region, there wasn't a lot of opportunities. So I had to stick around and sort of believe in this. But now you could get out of university and get an internship in no time. Everyone is working on it. So that's a whole new paradigm that has opened thanks to this revolution. And then the next thing, there's a field you might have heard about, it's called prompt engineer, and they're getting paid. I mean, in the US market around 100K, 150K. That's a very good salary. It's more than the average salary in New York. And that is a career that came out not longer than 9-10 months ago. So, I mean, if you were familiar with the field, if you were in there, you could have learned that, take that risk, learn it, and then be a prompt engineer.
Yeah.
Just try to figure out how to use these models better.
We already have invention of a new domain,
Exactly.
a new field where
Yes.
people would get good jobs
Yeah.
with a high paying salaries, right?
And in the last episode, as we discussed about the ethical side of AI, so there is a lot more ethical AI jobs. There are ethical AI engineers that make sure that the system is not biased, and there's a fair level of fairness within the system. So yes, it has given birth to a lot of new careers as well, and we should also look at the positive side of AI, not think of it as the enemy as we move forward. I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, one of the very funny incident which I actually watched in the previous movies is that there is a job called lubricator. The guy was actually working in the railroads, and that's the most important guy actually back in 80s.
Mhm.
So the guy actually used to lubricate all the wheels, and if the guy is not there, the railroads are just like a nightmare.
Yeah.
But after the introduction of the ball bearing,
Yeah.
the guys that job actually eliminated a lot, almost vanished. And now when you are actually seeing that 1,000 kilometers per hour railroads are already there, so where that job actually goes, so that job actually improvised to the engineers actually now engineers, people, automated roads, automated ones, and the rail industry actually move on from here to here. So the lubricator guy, where that guy is, we don't know.
I mean, you need to accept the shift
We need
of
to
the
accept the
revolution.
paradigm shift. Yes.
And you need to adapt the new technologies
We-
if you want to be in the race, right? Eventually, if you are not going to adopt those technologies, you will be out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, Shahzad and Fahad, coming towards the summarization, but before that, I have one very important question. There are so many low-code, no-code platforms that we have right now, but still people fear, they're afraid of using those low-code, no-code platforms. My question is that, do we rely, on those platforms, and do we really get the benefit out of it? So, out of those low code and no code platforms.
Okay, to tell you that, let me take you back to the history a little bit more.
Yeah.
Whenever I actually start the development, at that time, what we do is we actually start writing smaller chunks of code.
Yeah.
That's chunks of code actually part of our library. Whenever we need to have a similar functionality, what we do, we actually take those code from the library, actually modified that one, and if this is some kind of an improvisation actually is there, we actually pack that code back, push into the same library. This is called like segmentation. We actually take one segment out and then move it back to this one. In the modern world, what we have adopted is we call this one as a marketplace.
Okay.
At first, what we were doing actually is we were actually storing that entire information into a local repository.
Mhm.
Later on, it actually improved onto different global repositories like Maven repositories, Nexus repositories, package managers, and stuff like that. So people actually keep on contributing on to the new functionalities rather than reinventing the wheel. We actually start looking into that one. And this actually happened on the core functionalities in recent time. But then people realize that, okay, we can actually do that with the basic stuff as well.
Mhm.
So the basic stuff, you wanted to create a login interface.
Okay.
But to do that, you want to actually integrate a credit card integration.
Mhm.
How to integrate a social application, how to integrate with a database, how to integrate with that.
Lots of
So it's just like people are like cherry picking on different things, and what they're doing, they are just integrating all of them, and that's there. So is integration that difficult thing? Not at all. What you have to do is you just have to do that. Integrate with this database using these credentials. Integrate with that using this. Integrate with that using it. So this new terminology is called cherry picking, or
Yeah.
you can call it no code.
Okay, so in the simpler language that we can say that we were doing work on the local repository, now it's a global.
It's a global one. And then low code one is that sometime you actually get to a point that you don't want a particular library to behave in a certain way. What you do is you actually customize it to your own needs. So for example, that library is actually sending notification to you in case of a failure. So if I want to get that notification to you and also send an email to me, also send an SMS to someone else, also send some other functionality as well. But the library is actually designed to actually send one notification to you only.
Mhm.
So what we have to do is just write a smaller piece of code and smaller piece of code to that. So the first concept is called no code.
Yeah.
And the second concept where we have to do is a little bit of a customization, that's called low code.
Yeah.
So there are many frameworks or ideologies or the patterns actually available there in market that are actually promoting this one.
Okay, Fahad, your call. Quick feedback for all this scenario of low code, no code
Yes,
platform.
I have a very interesting example for you. So I want people to, around you as well, to think of it as a furniture buying problem. Let's say you want to go out and buy a table and 4 chairs, right? And you go out to this shop that sells predefined templated furniture, right? So they only have it in brown and white and black. So you have 3 colors and you have a predefined design that you want to buy, right? Now, it all depends down, the use of AI depends down to what sort of a person you are, right? In this example. And then when it comes to the technical side of things or like software side of things, then what exactly your requirement is, what is the stake behind it, how many users are going to use that application, what infrastructure level are you working on. So let's say you want to do like a very big chair for yourself, right? You want to buy like a very customized chair. You can go and buy that, from that shop. You have to go to like a carpenter and get it built yourself, right? Because that's a personal preference and that's a different use case than, an out of the box template, right? So think of no code and low code platforms as the same thing. They have a very, finite set of predefined libraries and templates that you can use, right? And that also limits, some of the functionalities that you can achieve, just like WordPress used to exist back in the day. And, then we have other web development stacks. So yes, I mean, it all depends on the use case, right? If it's a very simple application that does not require over engineering and, does not require you to, or doesn't need spending of maybe 3 months on building, then yeah, go ahead, use a no-code platform, use a very nice template, use these libraries you want, and build it out in under a week, right? So they are solving a use case, and that's these smaller websites, there is a bigger market than these large-scale enterprises. But when you have a very customized application that you want to work on an infrastructure of very big scale, and you're expecting a lot of customers to come in, then you definitely need to go for platforms that include code, because you want to get into the nitty-gritty of code, and you want to make sure that each module is designed the way you want. Then you want your furniture to be more customized, right according to your need. So yeah, that's, I think, the way I would sum it up.
And thank you so much, Fahad. And coming towards the end of this episode, I would like you both to summarize this conclusion of this whole aspect of future trends of AI in the software development and overall. So a quick summarization from your side, Shahzad, first.
Anything that can be repeatable, anything that can be repeated by humans and they wanted to do that as an accuracy, artificial intelligence can do that for you. But for the thinking part, humans are actually there. So I would summarize this one like this.
Perfect. And Fahad?
It's going to evolve. It's going to get better and better as it, ironically collects more data from us humans. But I think as we use more and more, smart systems, we humans evolve as well. And that is the best thing about, this being on the earth. Yeah. Humans also, keep on evolving. So yes, it's never going to overtake us, right? That's what my opinion is. And yeah, as we learn to use these new systems and we adapt to these, we're also going to get smarter. And yeah, there's no need to be afraid of it. Just adapt to it. And that's the only way to survive in this, evolution.
So there is no Skynet in the new.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Shahzad and Fahad. And thank you so much to our audience as well, as this was the last episode of this AI learning web series of IntellicoTalks. And surely, I mean, this is not just the end. We are going to see you soon with some other series where we are going to come up with very interesting topics related to artificial intelligence, DevOps, and managed cloud services, as these are the core services of IntellicoWorks, and that's the domain that we are working in. So again, I would like to thank you to all my audiences that have been with us from the very start of this series. And thank you so much once again, and have a very nice day.